MTR, right? Mediocre tutorial and reviews, decided to get his hands dirty, right? Now, I have to extend a level of respect. Although I do not agree with everything, the overwhelming majority of MTR's takes as far as his assessment towards society or what's happening within society, um, I can't disagree with him. I do disagree with some things that he has had a take on, especially as of recently, with regard to the black community. But I don't expect to agree with everything that anybody says, and that does not mean that I have any less respect for them as a result of it, right? But I have to give a lot of respect, and I just got to call it like it is. I'm objective enough to acknowledge exactly what's happening. And MTR getting his hands dirty, from my perspective, regardless of what he stands for as far as what his takes are, is commendable and respect. It's respectable in itself. And let me tell you why. Because most content creators are looking to play it safe. Regardless of what side of the aisle that they stand on, they're looking to play it safe. Now, I have seen this video because somebody sent it to me this morning, right? And I do not have an opinion uh, about said person that is being communicated about in this video per se. This is more about MTR and men within the space specifically, okay? I am consistent. I will not have a take on any particular person, for that. And so I'm going to scrub through the video in order to have this conversation, to illustrate exactly why I have more respect for MTR than other content creators across the internet. So make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this video. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me get into the video. So I'm going to scrub through this really, really quickly.
She's going to play the clip of someone.
Shout out to Nate.
Back from London. Since I dropped that video specific to distancing myself publicly from the Just Pearly Things platform, a lot has happened. I'd argue that YouTube is a mess, a drama-filled mess. When I dropped my video, though, before I dropped it, I knew that it was going to cause a schism. I knew that it was going to cause a division. How was it that I knew that? Well, I understand how media works. I understand how YouTube works. I understand that successful content creators that build a platform from nothing, they do that on a sense of values, morals, principles, and ideas.
Let's stop there. Successful content creators that build their platform from nothing. Words matter. He is absolutely right about this. The reason why I feel so comfortable standing on my square of whatever it is that I believe based off of what's being communicated on the internet today is because I'm not owned by anybody, and anybody that's ever rocked with me is doing so based off of the fact that they found me standing in my square or on my square, and my core audience are with me, not necessarily because they agree with everything that I say, but they're with me because they know that I'm going to be honest and I'm going to tell the truth based off of what I really feel. That's the character of a man, right? The difference, and I had this conversation with the lead attorney, and I actually had it publicly, right? And it was me, the lead attorney, and Pocket Watching with JT. And I told the lead attorney, he said, listen, would you rather have 1 million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers like I have now, right? Combined just between the Anton Daniels channel and the Millionaire Morning Show, we've eclipsed over 300,000 subscribers. But that's not the point. He said, would you rather have 1 million subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, right? And I said, I'd rather have 100,000 core subscribers. And they laughed at me. And shout out to my dog, lead attorney. I love the lead attorney. That's my guy. I really rock with him. And they laughed at me. And they clipped it up. And they said, Anton said he would rather not have 1 million subscribers, right? But I added the context in that video, and I said, I'd rather have a core 100,000. I'd rather have a core 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people that truly, truly, truly love me and roll with me no matter what it is, through the controversies, through my ups and my downs and my hot takes and the things that they agree with me and disagree with me. Because when you have a core group of people that love you, you can't be shaken. They're not wavering back and forth based off of mob culture. Conversely, you have a million fair weather people, you can fall the fuck off tomorrow and nobody is going to care about you because the thing that they subscribe to you is easily taken away from you, and you've never truly built a core audience that then rocks with you and is the base, is the foundation of who it is that you are or what it is that you've been doing in the first place. I've never wanted people to subscribe to me because of the type of content that I put out. I've always been focused on building a core audience based off of the fact that they rock with me because of who I am and not just because of the fact that I may talk about money or modern women or urban exploration back in the day or how much money in gambling and all of this other type of stuff. They're with me, not just the content, right? Because the minute that you evolve, it's similar to these Nickelodeon kids, and some of them are able to make the transition in order from being a kid actor and a kid rapper, and some of them is still being labeled as a child, in which they've never been able to evolve because their core audience was rocking with them based off of the fact that they found them on that show and not because they actually seen the value in who they were specifically, right? But let me go ahead and continue.
And logic that their viewers and their audience members lock into. What I understood, the quickness that Pearl was able to gain her base is based off of this idea and concept of a modern woman, right? And dispelling all of the propaganda and beliefs that has propelled many of these feminist ideologies forward over the past several decades. When she shifted into a different type of content, that content hit users' eyes and forced them to make a decision dependent upon if you agreed with her or if you did not agree with her. Okay?
So he's talking about the Just Pearly things, right? And so he's saying basically that Pearl and the content that she was putting out was based off of things that he was agreeing with regard to relationships. Now, when Pearl pivoted and she started having more controversial subjects on the platform, it forced people to pick a side of whether or not they agreed with it or disagreed with it, which then ultimately is supposed to translate into whether or not you're going to still rock with the channel, you're going to subscribe, or you're going to continue to move on. From early observations, Pearl hasn't lost any subscribers. As a matter of fact, she continues to gain. But neither here nor there.
So Pearl hit a certain stage of her content creation journey where component of her audience base has to make a decision. And based off of that decision, in which side of the fence that you fell on, is whether or not you chose to stay subscribed or unsubscribed. But what
Now, I do agree with this, Kempler Files. MTR acting like he didn't know before he went on the show. Now, I wouldn't call him a clown. I would just say that he understood the business opportunity that came from continuing to put his brand in front of a core group of followers or subscribers that may not have been familiar with his content. The other side of that conversation, and this is the thing that I disagreed with MTR on, was if you are going to rock with somebody and you have their phone number and you are able to communicate with them or even hold them accountable offline, then do so other than nuking them when you were looking at them as a business opportunity in order to come up and continue to create more visibility for your platform. And see, that's the part that I disagreed with him about, right? Doesn't mean that I'm right, doesn't mean that he's right, doesn't mean that I'm wrong, doesn't mean that he's wrong. That's just my opinion personally. It doesn't mean that I've lost any respect for him as a man or as a person simply because I have a difference of opinion. And that's where I stood. I stood on one side of the aisle. He stood on other sides of the aisle. It's a lot of other people that pick different sides of the aisle in order to be able to stand on. It's people that I'm super cool with. I talk to Crimson Cure on the phone. the way that I should have been dealing with other people. But me and Crimson Cure had a conversation on the phone, and I said, listen, I don't know where you stand on this, and this is before the whole thing went off. I said, I don't know where you stand on it. I'm sure you probably know where I stand on it. But anything that happens as a result of this, it ain't got nothing to do with you. If you got a problem with me, hit me up. If I got a problem with you, I'll call you because you know I value you. You know I rock with you. And Crimson Cure was like, oh, Anton, I love you, baby. You know how Crimson is. She's such a sweet girl. I love Crimson Cure. And she kept it solid. And to this day, I can call Crimson Cure right now, or Crimson Cure will call me and say, Anton, what do you think about this? And 99% of the conversations that we have don't even have shit to do with the internet. It's just on some real stuff. But again, I can disagree with him on that particular position, but it doesn't change my perspective of how it is that he stands on whatever he stands on as far as his willingness to take accountability for whatever it is decision that he makes as a result of it. Let's continue.
Didn't predict is how much of the space is essentially a powder keg that was waiting to explode. Because although the issue happened at one of the most subscribed to people within the space, the bloodshed didn't really occur until everyone else got their palms and their hands on it. Because that's when the real battle started. And from a distance looking in, it's some of the most egregious drama.
I don't care. Listen. I hear a lot of y'all saying, Anton, he said he called her before the video. I said what I said. I don't care about whether or not you call. Listen, just because if me and Q get into it, now me and Q is cool in real life. I have her phone number. I can call her. Now let's say that Q says something that I disagrees with, right? Just because I call Q and say, yo, I'm about to drop a video about you online doesn't make it any less egregious. I still will never, ever talk negatively about Q publicly to anybody. Anything that I have to say about Q, whether we continue our relationship or not, friendship or not, that's between me and her. Just because I call you before I do something and I announce to you before I'm going to do it doesn't make it any less egregious from my perspective with regard to that one specific situation. A lot of y'all think that just because you tell somebody that you're going to do them dirty, that makes it any less dirty, that's supposed to mean something for me. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything to me whatsoever. Shout out to you for giving me a heads up so I can prepare myself from the bomb that you're about to drop on me. But that don't mean nothing to me. Where was y'all raised at? Where y'all born at? Where y'all from? That's how they do it from where y'all from? Man, get out of here with that. But again, that's my take on that specific situation. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that disagree with me on the fact that I even stood 10 toes down with Pearl in the first place because I do know her in real life. But that's just me.
Drama-filled-ish that I have ever seen on this platform. Now, on one side of the coin, you could say, hey, listen, MTR, but listen, drama is good, baby. Who cares? All right?
Somebody said that's why you got done dirty by the 6-foot behemoth. Who get done dirty? Who got done dirty? Y'all don't see what happens long term? Y'all not seeing how this is playing out? Y'all not seeing how this is playing out? Okay. How I get done dirty? Because somebody said they didn't want to be my friend no more? What that's supposed to mean something to me? I don't think that this being done dirty. I think that that's a blessing because at least I know where you stand and I can make adjustments as far as, I don't have to still defend you, rock with you or whatever like that. She said what she said. I said what I said. We moved on. She living her life. And so now she got to deal with the shrapnel and the repercussions that come along with however it is that she moving. I didn't get done dirty. I'm fucking overlooking Vegas right now with literally $10,000 right in front of me, and I'm leaving richer than I was before I came to Vegas. How did I get done dirty?
Let everyone burn each other at the stake. And to that I say, yeah, go ahead, sure. As a larger content creator, I have the luxury to be able to point at different situations and pick which topics that I want to be able to talk about. I think times like this, the strongest will survive. And you'll see content creators fall because they can't handle the pressure, or content creators that really demonstrate a sense of talent and work ethic mixed with execution that allows them to sustain for years into the future. So what is it that I'm talking about here today? Well,
He's basically saying, before he's breaking this down, and again, I'm only going to play the MTR part because I don't have an opinion about what it is that he said, and I'll actually link the this video in the description for y'all to go and watch it in its entirety if you're interested. I don't have an opinion about her one way or another, but I do like the fact that he's addressing the elephant in the room, and he's saying, listen, this is what I stood for, and this is what I think now.
In the video that I did on Pearl, towards the end of that video, I called out specific content creators that I thought would be great people for viewers to be able to find and to look at, because I thought they were great compliments to the space.
Now, he named several different content creators. I think he named Courtney Michelle. I think he named Six the Goddess. I think he named Six the Goddess's friend, Danica, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And I think he recommended somebody else, right? But I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly who all of the people that he recommended. But I will say the overwhelming majority of the people that he recommended on that list, I disagree with. I disagree with him supporting and recommending the overwhelming majority of the people that was on that list. Because there's no way in the world that we should have. Well, I'll leave that alone. Let's continue.
One of those content creators, I now have to rescind my recommendation because of what I just recently watched. So let's get into it.
So his perspective basically is saying that he has to rescind his recommendation from one of those content creators simply because of apparently the fallout between Nathan and said content creator. Let me see if I can scrub through this really quickly because, like I said, if y'all want to go and watch the whole video, y'all can. I just want to get MTR's take specifically. And again, I'm going to leave the link in the description for y'all to be able to check out this video. And you can see it for yourself. As a matter of fact, I'll drop it in the chat right now. Well, I'm not going to drop it in the chat, but I'll put that in there. And y'all can go and see it for yourself.
The community that he serves in, I believe that said Dunwoody, which is in Atlanta. So a predominantly black community trying to protect that community. And this happens to him. And that's how you stay on code? It seems like staying on code only matters for people that agree with your statements. Man.
Let me stop that right there. Remember this whole code thing? That y'all keep saying? I seen no less than at least 100 comments on different videos where people were saying, of my video specifically, where everybody was saying, Anton ain't on code. Anton ain't on code. Why you ain't on code with the black? Who's code? Half of y'all don't even fuck with each other. Half of y'all don't even like each other. The only code that I have is that I'm aligning with people that's going in the direction that I'm going in from here on out. And then on top of that, if I know you in real life, I'm never dissing you online. I don't have an opinion about that either way. And nobody can get me to hold you accountable publicly if I have your phone number privately and I truly say that I rock with you in real life. Now, the additional context of that is just because you got my fucking phone number don't mean that I rock with you in real life. It's a lot of people that got my phone number that I don't necessarily rock with in real life. I don't know where they got it from. Some people got it as a result of us doing business together, but that don't necessarily mean that I rock with you in real life. But who's code? The black code? The black community code? There is no code in the black community. There is no code in the black community. That is a fact. And the minute that y'all realize that and y'all start aligning yourself with people based off of the fact that you really rock with them instead of just because of the color of their skin, something that they can't even control, that's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Man, listen to me. You cannot defend shit like this. Once a chameleon tells you who they are, then you should believe them. The evilness through the hypocrisy is just so crazy to me. How many men throughout history have lost their jobs or their livelihood talking to women like this, interacting with women like this? How many men are incarcerated right now defending the honor of a woman like this? How many men are 6 feet deep because they tried to defend the honor of a woman like this?
I see what he did there. He did the 6 feet thing. MTR should be a rapper. MTR is throwing subs like Jay-Z did. MTR is throwing subs like Jay-Z did. Real talk. And let me take some accountability. I'm guilty. I'm guilty, right? Because I went against a lot of people that said, Anton, nope. Anton, you need to do this. Anton, you need to do that. And I said, nah, fuck that. I don't care how right they are. I don't care how wrong they are. What you're not going to do is come on my platform and talk any kind of bullshit about the person that I personally rock with. I'm guilty. I have to bring myself to the front of the congregation. I am guilty. And all of the content is there for y'all to see. I am the person, I am one of the people that said that nope, Logic, nope, Chaotic, nope, Nathan, while I'm here, I don't give a fuck about what y'all do on your own platform, because that's y'all platform. You created it. You got your own audience. That's what it is that you stand for. But as far as when you come on my platform and you come on my panel and you do this, you're not going to address somebody that I personally know in real life. And I'm not going to do it because I can have a conversation with them in real life. Now, I don't know if that makes me guilty of doing something bad other than holding down the principles of what loyalty really looks like. But at the same time, what I see happening here is that essentially I went against Q. Nope, Q, we're not doing it. Essentially, what I believe that happens, and one of the reasons why I'm always so comfortable rocking out the way that I'm rocking out, is because I believe that the truth eventually always, it's not always going to come out immediately. People going to feel it some type of way and all of that, whatever. But it's not always going to come out immediately. But I think that the truth always comes to the light. And so now that you see how everything is playing out, and the people that were all supposed to be on code are now turning against each other, I want you to sit here and tell me that I was right. I predicted it. I told you that it was going to happen. I told you that you needed to get off of this plantation mentality of everybody thinking that they rock with each other. Black people been against each other since the beginning of time. The difference is that now we realize that it's a difference between black people and niggas. And these people, largely, overwhelmingly, the majority of them, and this is to nobody specifically, this is just in general, I'm talking about the general public that has so much to say, has never given a black person a job, has never held down a black person, has never married a black person. The only thing that they've done has been a nuisance to their community, and they've never truly added any value. And now we think that just because they have platforms that we supposed to listen to them because of what again? I would say to you that I'm more pro-black than everybody that labels themselves pro-black in this space based off of exactly what I do in real life and what my results are. I want to continue to hear what MTR got to say.
You're a fool if you turn a cheek and you think that it won't happen to you. It's never dope to do videos like this, but calling out the blatant hypocrisy, the dirty tactics, and the BS in this space as it refers to men, respect for men, and for men's honor is absolutely necessary, because I will not stand for it. Not on my watch. Questions.
Listen. I have to give respect to MTR for A, addressing whatever it is that he felt, B, getting his hands dirty, and C, I don't think that we all get it right. I don't get it right. I certainly don't get it right some of the times. I think I'm right the majority of the times, but I certainly get it wrong sometimes, and that's why I got people around me that gives me great insight and information in order to be able to make adjustments. But I got to give a shout out to MTR. I don't agree with him on everything that he says, but I absolutely respect The fact that he's willing to get his hands dirty.